God bless America. No better time to talk about that fair tax than right now. More coming.
Guess what one of the signs says? Wake up and
Where's that one at? I'm actually, that's part of what I'm trying to compile a lot of this, and eventually I want to make a movie out of it.
Oh.
But I've been hitting, like, try as many of these tea parties as I can.
Yeah.
Some of these signs are
one,
pretty good.
yeah. I think it's over there. Yeah, it's over there. It's sand problem.
I'm telling you what, I hate to say it, but we had a civil war once before.
The government doesn't need money, they got a printing press.
Just where it is now.
Iraq and everything. He's been everywhere. He just joined sniper school.
We got that from a crashtheteaparty.com site. It was very nice of them to help us.
I gotta see that. That was cool. You put it like right on top of the sign.
Oh no, not this sign. You're the infiltrator. No, this was from This was from Crash the Tea Party. They gave us the idea. They were trying to crash our tea party, and it said make arrows, infiltrator. It's a great idea. Thanks, guys. Oh, and on the other side, if they get nasty, it says Zelensky. Solid.
Sure gets funny thinking about money, making my daily bread. The more you make, the more they take. You never seem to get ahead. You break your backs just to pay your tax, and you don't like the way that it's spent. Somewhere back we jumped the track. This isn't what the government. If by now made 500,000, but I ain't saved a dime. The IRS came out best, they got my money every time. It can't be fair when Charlie Rango there never has to give them a cent. Sad to say we've lost the way, this isn't what the government. The spending spree, it don't come free, have they never learned the meaning of style? But things will change, we'll have our way come November when we're back on top. Till then here I am on my hands and knees, scrubbing in my dungarees. I got burned, but I finally learned this is now our government. You people here, please land in here. We've all got to change the Congress somehow. We need new blood to stop the flood for what Obama's planning now. We gather here this time of year, if for no other reason to vent. I can't see we all agree we're taking back our government. Gonna sing these words out loud and from my heart. We're gonna turn this land around, but that's not all. We're the ones who's crying out, we're the voice who's crying out. We're the only ones who can save America today. Today will be the day we take it back from you. Today will be the day. Today will be the start of a revolution. I'm gonna say these words out loud and from my heart. We gotta turn this land around, but that's not all. We're the voices crying out. We're the ones who know what's right. We're the only ones who can save America today. Today will be the day we take it back from you. Today will be the start of a revolution. Today will be the day we take it back from you. Today will be the start of a revolution. We are the sound of a revolution. We won't back down to the revolution. We are the sound of a revolution. We won't back down to the revolution. Today, 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 revolution.
Very good.
You got it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hope it makes you film.
Hey, if you want to say your name, it's fine, but if not, it's okay too. Even if it's the first name or whatever.
I'm Dan.
Dan, I'm Nathan. Thank
Nice
you,
to meet you,
Dan.
Nathan.
You too.
Thanks for giving me the time.
Welcome.
Sham wow.
Cut.
This building is an acoustic nightmare anyway. It's tough to hear the sound system. We know and understand that. The more quiet the crowd is, the easier it is to understand our speakers. And I appreciate your cooperation. Thank you so much. Years ago, when I first started in radio in this business, I was on the air for a year or two, and I had the opportunity to meet a kindred spirit. Those of you who know me or have listened to the show any period of time know that I spent most of my real life as a police officer. And I don't know how it happens, the cops.
I'm going to give you a quick hit about the healthcare bill. No technical stuff. And the reality is my mother has buried 2 daughters. And we buried another sister not long ago. We're Irish, so this is going to have a happy ending. Hang in there. My sister's diagnosed with cancer, meets all the docs, goes for everything, has gone through chemo, goes for radiation, and amazingly, she's allowed to talk to her doctors about her treatment. How wacky is that? Amazingly, nobody in Washington was telling her what kind of care you're going to get, what time you're going to get the care, and how that's And he said, always a moment when you're sitting at the wake and you're just kind of staring forward and you're saying to yourself, people, I say that to a woman, very too long. And I had a great summer, by the way, 2 years ago. My mother just had a high cloud above her. So, nice about that. So, sit there and you're just staring up into space. I'm like, my gosh, she must be hurt. So, I'm okay. And she says to me, I can't believe she voted for her. Cannot believe it. I'm going to tell you something. Stay passionate. sleeping giant has been awoke. That's why I need my Marine Corps, Army, Air Force, Navy, National Guard, anybody else involved. When you go to that voting booth next November, the regime change is going to take place. I want you to say one thing. I want you to say, "Ooh-ah," when you do it. We're going to do that on 3 together. We're going to get motivated. We're going to stay passionate. Even during the summer, we're going to still be that angry, right-wing crowd that the media is going to describe you as. I'm frightened as hell by that. I mean, you really are completely out of control. So on a count of 3, we're going to do what we're going to do next November. On a count of 3, give me a big hoorah. 1, 2, 3. Hoorah! Outstanding! Outstanding! Troy Philbin, every morning, even the MC voting for the thank us for what he's done here in the community of our county, up and down the East Coast. We're going to thank Bill Mitt for being the voice of reason for a long time here. Every day, 6 o'clock. I steal all this stuff from the podcast, so it's like my show's easy on Saturday, so perfect. So I just want to thank you. I'm so proud of you. And by the way, my credit card, the Capital One credit card says "We the People" on the front. You know why? Because it's my divine right to destroy my credit rating the way I want. Don't let the media describe you as several dozen, and my friends in the media here tonight, this is not several dozen people. This is not a nice gathering. Bill and I were shot, it's about 2,500. Well, we'll say conservative 2,500. Be proud of yourselves. Give yourselves an hoorah! Hoorah! Outstanding. Saturday, 3 o'clock, make sure you're there. God bless. Thank you.
And Glenn Beck, if you guys listen to Glenn after my show every morning, I was fortunate enough back in 2004 to introduce the crowd to what was happening at Glenn's Christmas show at the Hard Rock Cafe over in Orlando. And I recognized the military members that were in the front of that audience. And the Hard Rock Cafe, which was a crowd probably this size, maybe just a little smaller, erupted in applause, a standing ovation for these men and women in the military. And yet, some of those men and women who served us, when they come back, they're not capable of giving a standing ovation. They either can't stand, they can't clap, or they have a disability that keeps them from being able to perform. About a year ago, I became aware of an organization called the Sentinels of Freedom. I was honored to host their fundraising dinner last May. I will do it again this May. And I want you to have the opportunity to know who they are and what they do. Brian Laughlin is a member of the Sentinels of Freedom. He's here to tell you about that tonight. Brian.
Hello. I'm Brian Laughlin. I'm from the Sentinels of Freedom Space Coast. Thank you. I'm only going to take a few minutes to tell you about our organization and tell you how we tie into the Tea Party. The Sentinels of Freedom, we're raising money to help severely disabled returning veterans from Iraq and Afghanistan. We're looking for candidates from all the forces who are now amputees, blind, deaf, paraplegics, or severe burn victims. The worst of the injuries. Qualified candidates for our charity is one who wants to integrate back in the community and restart employment as a civilian and have the mental aptitude to do so. The support we provide them comes the form of a 4-year life scholarship. That's all. Warren County. We're building a network that helps the most injured come back, so they don't fall into the hole, fall into the crack that those returning from Vietnam and Syria fall into. We're trying to get them out into the community to make them productive, to make them have a productive life. Now, for the past 2 years, we've been raising money for this effort, and I'm happy to announce that just 3 weeks ago, the Sons of Freedom offered their very first life scholarship to Marine Corporal Robert Smith of Coca. Robert's 24 years old here at Cocoa High, married his high school sweetheart and a 2-year-old daughter, and they're planning on having another child. Robert is an amputee. Lost his right leg above his knee, has shrapnel in his body, and various other physical issues. For some people, this is hard to overcome. But it's not going to be for Robert. We're going to help him. We're going to support him not just financially, we're going to mentor him. We're going to give him advice. He's a 24-year-old kid. His whole life experience is going to high school, going to Iraq, and getting his leg blown off. That's all he knows. Right now, next week, Robert and Natalie will open and enroll at BCC. Robert wants to become a school teacher, and Natalie will use a few more credits to become their associate's degree. So we're pushing that to the way on that. We're doing this for the brave men and women of our community. They put their lives on the line to protect and defend us. They came back as amputees, severe burn victims, or blind, and now it's our time to protect and defend them. The Veterans Association does a lot, but it doesn't do everything for these guys. There are gaps that need to be filled. We're going to fill those gaps to make sure these heroes are welcome home and transition back into civilian life where they should be. But we're not going to ask the government to spend any money to do it. We're taking this on as a community. Everything we do, we raise funds locally. It's all voluntary. It's quite expensive. But we're not asking for a handout. We're asking people, if this sounds good to you, come help us out. It's very easy to do, and it doesn't hurt the taxpayers one bit, and this family will be advantaged. To keep just about a couple minutes to make this easy, there's a lot of ways you can help. There's a lot of ways you can learn about us. First and foremost, Bill Mick has been great to us. I'm sure I've heard about the Sons of Freedom on WND. Thank you, Bill. You heard about his golf tournament on April 30th? Well, guess what? Proceeds from that event will benefit the Sons of Freedom. You can play golf from home. Earlier, a gentleman talked about the Tea Party / Insiders Cruise. You can have fun, go on a cruise, it benefits us. Very easy. There's all kinds of things you can do for us. Obviously, we can use money, we can use volunteers, and we're having a fundraising dinner. The second annual one is going to be June 17th. Come to our dinner. Donate something to our dinner. Not even throw off. Be on the community. It doesn't matter. We want help. We're organizing the community. We're networking the community to help not just the Smith family, but the next family that comes along just like us. That's all I got. It's a great organization. You can check us out at sentinelsfreedomfl.Florida.org. And you can link from MLB as well. That's our website. Thank you very much.
started a year ago at the Sentinels of Freedom event.
You know, it's a lot like.
What I didn't know is this man had been a friend to me much longer than I'd ever known him. Danny McKnight served this country honorably and well for many, many years before he retired from the United States Army. Danny McKnight's not retired from the Army because he's still actively engaged and involved with those young men and women who come back to this country after having served overseas. He speaks all around the country, and it's one of her parts home to talk with us a little bit about this patriotic audience and what you mean to the military, what the military means to us, and wherever he wants to take it. My friend, your friend, if you've met him or not, Colonel Danny McKnight.
Thank you. Wow. I think I'll sit down and shut up, but I got a standing ovation. All I can do is screw it up after this. Thank y'all so much for the warm welcome, but thank you for being here. I want to tell you right up front, I know enough about the tax laws. I know enough about health care, and I know both of those things are wrong. But the thing I can talk to you about that I know about is the Constitution of the United States. Because on August 3rd of 1973, I raised my right hand and I swore to defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And I had the great privilege to do that for 28 and a half years. I had the privilege to serve for the greatest country there is in the world, and that's ours. And I had the greatest privilege of all because I got to lead American soldiers, and there's nothing better than an American soldier. But tonight I'm here and I feel really proud too, because I am amongst my friends who are all, like me, American patriots who will fight for our country. I'm not going to talk a lot about those other things that the other people have because they've covered it well enough. They talked about the healthcare thing and all of that. But I want to make sure when we leave here tonight, we all remember how great it is to live in the United States of America. To be an American citizen is a very special privilege that we have. I spoke this morning in Rhode Island High School because I was asked to teach the guys' class on leadership. So I spoke to 4 different classes this morning of 9th graders. And what I wanted them to walk out of that classroom with this morning after about an hour putting up with me was to feel proud that they have had a privilege of growing up in the greatest country in the world that needs a lot of work, believe me. We do, we know that. But that's okay. We're 230 plus years old, and we've been working at it for 230 plus years, and we'll keep doing it. Because we want to remember what got us there was hard work and never giving up. And fighting when necessary. And if we have to fight right now by standing up for what we know is right, and defend the rights that we have earned as citizens of the United States of America, we're going to do that. As I told them what's so important to me about it is I have 3 grandsons. My oldest grandson will graduate high school from Florida Air Academy this May. I don't know if you're clapping because you're proud of him or you're happy I'm that old. I don't know. But I'm proud of him. He could even be going in the Army a year from now. We're talking about it. I've got a 13-year-old grandson, his brother. And I've got a new 10-week-old grandson, too. I've got pictures if y'all want to see it, okay? But you know, most of us here could right now look back and say, we've had a great life. We have lived in the United States of America. We've raised our families here. We've been blessed to be in this country. But you know, our kids, we've got to make sure what we do, like tonight, is to make sure that our kids and our grandkids and their kids enjoy the same privileges and opportunities that you and I have, and that we fought for. I've been at Walter Reed for the day, for a few hours, when we met Walter, went down to the physical therapy ward. And the chaplain who was escorting us said, you can go talk to any of them you'd like to. So Linda goes to talk to some, and I go to talk to some, and I see a young man sitting down watching another young man who had 2 prosthetic legs, hooked in a harness, running for the first time. He was learning to run with his 2 legs for the first time. I walked over to the young man that was sitting there watching him, who had one prosthetic leg, and I said, hi, I'm Colonel Daniel Knight. He says, I'm Corporal Robert Smith. I said, is this one of your buddies? Are you watching so you can help him? He says, well, we're sort of buddies. He's an Army guy, and I'm a Marine. I said, well, that's okay, all right. So we talked for a bit, and I said to him, where did you grow up, Robert? Where's home? And he said, well, sir, I grew up in Florida. I said, well, I did too. I said, where did you grow up in Florida? He said, Cocoa Beach. He didn't know where I was from yet. I said, Linda, come here. She came over, and I said, this is Robert Smith. He grew up in Cocoa Beach. She said, you did? He said, well, I didn't really grow up in Cocoa Beach. I grew up in a really small town in that area that nobody's ever heard of. So I say Cocoa Beach because everybody knows where Cocoa Beach is. I said, is that right? He still don't know where I'm from. I said, well, Robert, what's the name of this small town you grew up in? He said, a little place called Sharps. I said, I know where the post office is in 14 Treasures, and my first wife was from there. He looked at me and said, you know where Sharps is? I said, yes, I do. I said, Linda and I grew up in Cocoa, Florida. He says, oh. Linda then says to him, where did you go to school? He said, well, I went to Clear Lake Middle School. Linda said, dating us, it was Clear Lake Junior High when we went there. Where did you graduate high school? Cocoa High School. So did we. But there wasn't a rock ledge in those days. There was only Cocoa High. Robert was just a doctor at that moment. I lived in many ways. He said his wife Natalie and little girl were at Cocoa Beach right then because he wanted to return home. Home, where we live. He wanted to come back. I pulled out a card and I said, Robert, when you come to Brevard County, I better know before you get here. Because if you don't let me know, I will find out. And you can't run fast enough with what you're running with, okay? I met Robert Smith that way. Robert's been here quite a while back. We had him over to the house for dinner. Him and his lovely wife, Natalie, and the little girl. I'm so proud that Robert's back in our community, one of our very own that grew up right here. See, he sacrificed for us. And see, I've been to Walter Reed 5 times in the past 3 years. When did I go there? We go there just to visit American soldiers because they deserve that. They deserve it. And I want to finish this with a story that happened happened at the same time, and maybe the same day I met Robert. Because I want you to know about this young man. And you'll know why when I finish. When we got to Walter Reed that day and we started headed towards the Lord, where I was going to visit Linda and I and her daughters and her stepdaughter and the niece, and had 18 to 20 soldiers to visit. And I'll tell you right up front, they do not give me the easy ones. But that's okay. Yeah. I can talk to them. People say, well, do you know the soldiers? I said, sure I do. They said, you know every one of them? I said, yeah, because there's one here that you know a soldier. If you've been a soldier, and a lot of you know that, you're always a soldier right there. It never, ever goes away. As we were walking down the hall to the Lord, there was a young man coming down the hallway in a wheelchair. He had his mother and father with him, his brother and a friend of his brother. I said to the chaplain, when we go get to talk to him, he said, yes, sir, we'll do it now. The young man stopped in front of me. I introduced myself to him, and he introduced himself to me. His name was Brendan Morocco. We talked for a little bit. It was a challenge for him. He'd only been there 28 days. He was wounded on Easter Sunday 1 year ago. He was driving one of those bigger vehicles, the MRAP. And I said to Brendan, what happened? The reason I wanted to know what happened was because I was talking to a 22-year-old young man. Our first quad amputee in World War II. We all know that it is said the ultimate sacrifice one can make is when they give their life for another. I look at Brendan and I think, at 22 years old, has he not taken and given when he really sacrifices that? He lost this leg here, this arm below the elbow, this one below the elbow, and was having problems with sight in one eye, has since lost sight in that eye. We talked for a bit, Brendan and I did, and he told me what had happened, that he was driving the last off right below the seat. He said, after the blast, the next thing I remember was when I woke up, and it's his words, this is what was left. But he said, they saved my life, and I'm glad they did. We talked a little more, and I said, Brendan, what unit were you serving with? He said, sir, I was in the 2nd Battalion, the 27th Infantry, out of the 25th Division, Schofield Barracks, Hawaii. And I immediately said, so you're a wolfhound. He sort of smiled, and he said, yes, sir, I am. I said, so am I. I said, I commanded 4th Battalion, 27th Infantry, 25th Division, Schofield Barracks, Hawaii, from 1991 to 93. As a matter of fact, your battalion wasn't there. Your battalion came and replaced mine, and they retired the colors of the Corps. So actually, you're in my old battalion, so I'm your battalion commander. He says, okay. Brendan is going to have a great impact on the people of our country. Mark my words. I keep up with Brendan. Brendan's unit returned to Hawaii November the 19th last year. Brendan had told his mother, Mom, I want to be there when they come back. His mom's a nurse. She said, there's just no way it's going to happen. November the 19th of last year, Brendan was standing there when his unit returned to the 25th Division, Schofield Barracks, Hawaii. Brendan conducted the Purple Heart ceremony. Brendan was standing up on his 2 new legs. He's going to go through a whole bunch of those, believe me, by the time it's all over the next 2 years. But he was standing up when they pinned his Purple Heart on him. That's Brendan Morocco. Brendan, for 2010 so far, has been skiing in Colorado. Brendan is engaged to get married now. 23 now, and he is one of the greatest American patriots and heroes I have ever met in my life. That's the reason we need to get together and be heard so that people do not forget what it takes to be an American patriot and defend the greatest country there is in the world. And every one of you, I know there's a whole bunch of you out there, I'd love to shake everyone in the hand, I heard next if I could, that has served our country like Britain, and like I have the privilege to do. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I mean that to each and every one of you. And I would say that it was my privilege to do so. And if I hadn't got so old, I'd still be doing it. Because I love soldiers. Army, Air Force, Navy, Marines, and Coast Guard, active duty, Guard, and Reserve, we got the best in the world taking care of us. I ask you to remember one thing every night of the world. Remember, before you close your eyes to sleep, in your way, say that little prayer for them. Because they're all over the world taking care of us. And all of those people like them in our country that are taking care of us, the law enforcement, fire and rescue, all of those wonderful people who are dear friends of mine. Thank you for being here tonight, because we need to do this. We need to be heard. I really took offense to it when the president stood in front of a microphone after that health care bill was passed and said this. He said, "This is truly a sign of government for the people, by the people." And it is not government for the people, by the people, because it's not for us. And that's government for the people and by the people. We have got to step up. And it's time to step up starting now. And the next time we get to go to the polls, we have got to step up and make a difference. That's how we will make the change. Then when we sound off, then we will know that we are going to make a difference. Because what we have to do is change the non-representation that we have in the Congress and Senate of the United States of America today. We need to take our country back. And we will. Thank you. God bless you. God bless America.
Are we to have men like Danny McKnight serving the United States? Well, over the way. We're about to wrap up, and we intentionally keep these events away from politicians. We don't bring politicians to the mic because this is not about us hearing from them. It's about them hearing from us. That said, when you have one politician that you can point to every time and you can say, that man made a principled decision and he stood on what he believed and he did what was right for the people of this community, every now and then you got to recognize him and you want to talk to him, and his name is Scott Ellis.
party, he's a leader. And what this country needs is leadership. Here again in the mock-up, we talk about all national issues, but local issues are important as well. And it's very critical we take a look at what happens to local government. Here in Florida, I've seen Florida turn into California before my eyes. Turned into California so fast that I can't answer. Is anyone here going down to get their driver's license this year? Wait till you go. It will be an absolute disaster. The paperwork you now need just to get a simple driver's license in the state of Florida. Has anyone here got a red light ticket yet in Palm Bay? Lady I work with has one. It is straight out of 1984. You go to the website, you enter your license number, up comes the picture of your license, the video is there, right on red, 6 miles an hour, $125 fine. The Florida legislature is up there right now in the House, and they're going to make that universal throughout the state of Florida. It is happening just like our taxes last year. It is just a scary issue. Government will not let go of its revenue. And the key to changing that, people like you have got to run for office. And I truly mean that. You've got to run. The people that come into office from the activist side will stay true to their principles no matter what happens. The people that just run because they like that title, they like to be somebody, as soon as they get in office, they get turned completely around. They're completely around, they become part of the government, they become part of the machine. The activist side that gives you the leadership that you need in government to try and make some change. One of the biggest things you're going to find is you put someone who's they get elected, everybody else says yes, they will say no. And that's critical, and I don't care if some people say yes, I say no if I think I'm right, you say no if you think you're right. And when Florida today, and the media, and all the city managers, and all the other elected people get on you and say, you know something, you don't support anything, all you do is vote no. I say, you know you're right, because what I hear, I support liberty. And I support freedom. And that's what I'm here for. And what you want me to vote for is going to cut back on that liberty, it's going to cut back on that freedom. I will not vote for it today, yesterday, or forever. And that's right for you to do that, and you all are the people that need to run for office. Thank you.
Who represents the people well. Scott Ellis does that. Thank you so much, Scott. Scott Ellis. He's our clerk of courts. Ladies and gentlemen, before we go for tonight, reminder about the Tea Party Insiders Cruise. Larry Jackson in the back of the WMB table. Pick up the information. We've got 200 cabins. They are double occupancy. So if you're single, find somebody here to take with you. And go see Larry, because you don't want to be paired with somebody you don't know. Meet somebody here. As we wrap this thing up, I want to thank one more time Matt Knight from the Tea Party.